You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging out with you guys, and super excited about getting this podcast out to you guys here bright and early Monday morning. I'm not really sure when you guys get the opportunity to listen to the show, but I will say this. We do appreciate you guys listening in. Usually, we have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday show during the regular lawn and landscaping season, and right now we are on a regular Monday, just one show a week, as we do a lot behind the scenes to get ready to shift gears to take this thing into overdrive as we get closer to the regular season. What I wanted to talk to you guys about today was just a couple ideas that I wrote down over the last week. Usually a lot of these podcasts, if you guys will, stem from just observation, observation about what's going on from comments I get on Instagram, comments that we get on YouTube, or usually just a really good conversation that I have with one of you guys along the way, whether it's a coaching call or with my friend Mike Bedell, who's one of our subcontractors. And here's what the deal. I'm always learning. I'm always observing. I'm always growing. At least I try to be. That is one of those prerequisites that Liz and I put on a relationship way back when we first met each other, was always be growing, both personally and professionally. And what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is a little bit of last week we did a checkup from the Neck Up, right? About our mentality. And it was a really, really good episode that we did that kind of piggybacked off of an episode from 2 weeks ago about goal setting. What I wanted to, again, kind of keep that trend going about growing business professionals out there is talk to you guys about an observation that I've seen a lot with my YouTube channel about entertainment versus income, about running a business and being a lawn care guy, a lawn care owner versus being a businessman. I wanted to talk about an interesting observation just the other day that came from a YouTube channel that I put out there. And, it's really interesting. I get a lot of data and I can derive a lot of things from the views, the clicks, the Amazon affiliate links. There's a lot of ways for me to kind of measure what's going on, or at least I've learned how to measure things that are going on out in the marketplace. And I wanted to present some data to you guys. Some things that I found have been super interesting that I've noticed while doing YouTube, coming up almost on 5 years, that I think are really going to help you guys grow. I know there's a little bit of a teaser here, but here's what I want to say. I want to help those folks out there that want to grow a more successful business. I don't necessarily want to just help those people that want to be entertained with having a lawn and landscape business. And there's a huge difference in that statement right there. What I wanted to do is talk about a couple things I've observed over the last week, and then also kind of take you a little bit of a trip down memory lane with my own story this last 4 years and comparing it to the first 10 years that I had in business, and the differences between being a business owner and a businessman versus somebody who just cut grass for a living. So this will be a fun episode. It'll be short and sweet. We're going to come right back at you guys here in just a quick second after we hear from the show announcements and the show updates from Mr. Marty, Mr. Producer, who's going to take care of that right here, right now.
Thank you, Brian. You have certainly hit on one of my hot buttons. I am always preaching that the dollars are in the data. Definitely looking forward to your perspective. Now, for those of you who are new to the show, Brian and his wife Liz host a YouTube channel called Fullerton Party of Two, FPO2 for short, and I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to know the two of them better through these vids. The camera really likes Liz, and I'll just leave it at that. Hey, to our friends at Proven Locks, mega thanks for underwriting today's Fullerton Unfiltered.
Eyewitness News can confirm that there continues to be a rash of robberies at local landscaping warehouses. The story we reported last week on the theft of lawn care equipment has taken a turn for the worst, with numerous break-ins.
Don't let this be you. Think ahead. Prepare for the future. No lock is bulletproof, but give your equipment and livelihood a fighting chance with the security it needs from Proven Locks. Store your equipment with confidence and enjoy the peace of mind knowing your equipment is safe from thieves. Proven Locks makes trailer coupler locks to protect your utility and enclosed trailers. And it's the lock Brian Fullerton personally uses on his trailer now for over 4 years. These are definitely a premium lock, but when you consider a dump trailer costs $9,000, an enclosed trailer alone is $10,000 plus $30,000 with 2 lawnmowers inside, you can see it's a no-brainer to protect your investment.
Hey, the exciting thing here is that these guys are also a Brian's 10 partner where you guys can save over 10% on any order.
Visit ProvenLocks.com or check the link in the show notes, and they also have a great assortment of additional locking accessories like truck door locks and wheel locks to keep your equipment and trailers secure. ProvenLocks.com. That's ProvenLocks.com. Britt Dowd is no stranger to the lawn care industry. He's the owner of a fast-growing 7-figure lawn care business in the Midwest and host of the Lawn Care Leaders podcast, featuring lively discussions and deep dives into the lives of successful business owners all across the green industry spectrum. These conversations provide action steps on how to improve your business, personal life, spiritual, and physical well-being. When you subscribe to the Lawn Care Leaders podcast and leave a 5-star review with your Instagram handle in the review, you're qualified to win the Lawn Care Leaders Appreciation Package. This comes loaded with swag from Jobber, free shoes by Cujo, and a safety pack courtesy of Ballard Products. Now, if you can't leave a review at Apple Podcasts, just screenshot the app that you're listening on, post it to IG with the hashtag Lawn Care Leaders Podcast, and you'll automatically be entered for a chance to win. More details available on the Lawn Care Leaders Podcast with Britt Dowd.
Lawns, lessons, and live. This is the Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast. Now, your host, Brian Fullerton.
All right, good deal, guys. Well, let's just jump right back into it. I want to keep this episode short and sweet, but we're going to come at you guys with a lot of info in a short period of time. Here's what I wanted to just reveal, and I'm going to make a little conversation off of this point or this topic. And it's something that it's not an indictment. It's not anything judging anybody or me whining or complaining. Just hear me out all the way through, and I think it'll really illuminate some different things that I've recognized in the marketplace with people that are small business owners. Just the other day, I did a YouTube video, and it was titled like 3 reasons to start a lawn care business in 2021. Maybe you stumbled upon it, maybe you didn't. Maybe some of you guys don't even know, but we have a YouTube channel all about lawn care and landscaping. That's actually like the bread and butter of what I do as a social media person. We have an Instagram account under Brian's Lawn Maintenance. We have the podcast Fullerton Unfiltered. We do a lot. There's a lot of content that we put out there. But in one of the videos that I did just last week, like I said, was helping people that might be looking to or Google searching right now, how to start a lawn care business. And hopefully they find us, they find our content, and they can go down the rabbit hole and learn how to be a better business owner. Well, interestingly enough, and here's this whole rant that I'm going to do, is in that video, there was a book that I promoted talking about how to understand taxes, get better at taxes, learn what wealthy people do to pay as little as they can in taxes. And a whole nother conversation for a whole nother time about, that you guys know that we've had Tom Wheelwright on the podcast, who's one of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad advisors to Robert Kiyosaki, a guy who's probably worth 9 figures, right? And here's the interesting observation that I wanted to share with you guys. And we're gonna go down this rabbit hole for a quick minute. So hang tight. In that video, like 7 out of the 9 minutes through, which by the way, there's 7,500 views on that video in 4 or 5 days, which is okay. It's a decent little video. And it was just me talking about 3 reasons why we started a lawn care business. One is to make more money. Number 2 was to kind of control your financial freedom and maybe leave a full-time job. And then number 3 was for you to run a business is for tax advantages, especially with some different things that might be happening, different politically in the United States over the next 4 years. And historically, taxes are raised under a different political party that comes in office, which is probably going to happen this week. And so, right or wrong, it is what it is. But what I wanted to implore was to learn about taxes. And here's the long story short. The winded answer was, I plugged a book from Robert Kiyosaki's advisor, Tom Wheelwright, in the YouTube description, right? And I said, hey, if you guys want to learn a little bit more about taxes, and you guys want to start going down this rabbit hole about maybe how to protect your income and your business and just save some money and make some more money, guys, like really practical stuff. Here's the link to that book in the description. Well, let me ask you guys this. 7,500 people viewed the video in, 72 hours, let's say. How many books do you think I saw get purchased or move through our Amazon affiliate link? Probably 100, maybe 250. Because we have Amazon affiliate links, and once you click on those links and you buy that book, I think I get like 50 cents. Okay, so if you think I'm promoting a book to like make money on it, you're confused. We don't barely make any money from our Amazon affiliate links, like comparatively to other affiliate deals. So when I promote that stuff, it's genuine. I'm just like, hey guys, this book helped me. Maybe you should check it out. Well, let me ask you this. How many books do you think I saw you guys purchase or new people purchase based off of that recommendation? And here's the long story short. Two people had bought that book based on that recommendation to pick up a book that I had said had helped me save more money and make more money than any other resource in business in the last 4 years. That book alone has helped me to save tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars in tax burden, tax liability, owing money in taxes based on getting some stronger people on my team, a better wealth strategy, better CPA, bookkeeper, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So let's keep it in perspective. We're listening to a podcast. We're trying to grow. Yes, we talk about lawn care. Yes, we talk about hardscaping. Yes, we talk about landscaping. But that's not all that we do, right? You guys have heard me say till I'm blue in the face, we're not just lawn care owners or lawn care people. At least I'm not. Maybe you are, and that's all you're coming here for. And if so, like, we'll meet you there. But I'm trying to go all the way towards the full end of the spectrum for the people out there that want to look at a lawn and landscape business as a business, something that they can derive income from, and maybe long-term derive, a revenue source of income for them, like passively. Now, I'm not saying that's what I'm trying to do right now, but there's a lot of people that, believe it or not, have 25, 30 person, lawn and landscape companies. It nets them a couple $100,000 a year. And they take that money as seed money to go start a restaurant, a hotel, or real estate, so on and so forth. And so I know there's a lot of you guys listening in that probably even watched that video, but let me ask you this. Maybe I'm just naive, and maybe we sold 100 or 200 of those books through Amazon or whatever over 2020 or maybe 2019. Maybe everybody that watched that video, maybe I'm confused, bought that video over the last 24 months, and then they heard me promote that video or that book in that video, and they said, oh yeah, Brian, I'm already got the best CPA ever. I already got the best team. I already got the best bookkeeper. I already figured out how to legally reduce my taxes, right? I've already figured that all out. And maybe I'm just confused. Or what I've unfortunately noticed a lot is that whether it's my content or almost anybody's content, because I've asked this exact same question to a lot of people, and this is really the alarming observation that I've had, is that there's a difference between entertainment and income. There's a difference between listening to a podcast or watching a YouTube video and then actually acting on the information that you just got, right? Like I know a lot of folks, they have like a goal sheet. Like, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to listen to a good audio something program. I'm going to, read a good book. I'm going to tell my wife I love him, love her, love him, whatever, right? Your spouse. And it's almost like you get this checkbox mentality that you're doing the right things in life, right? You're like, hey man, I told my guys they're doing a great job. Hey man, I did this. I passed out 10 flyers. I did all these activities, and then you think that you win the day or won the day by doing all these things that you think are like your obligations to be successful, versus you changing, you becoming a better person, you learning these things, you being sincere, you actually caring and wanting to be a different person than you were a day ago, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, right? That was my story. My first 10 years in business, I was a lawn care guy. I literally cut grass. I focused on the basics, and there's nothing wrong with what I'm telling you guys. Like I said, some of you are just weekend warriors, which is a good thing. Some of you guys are just cutting 20, 30 lawns. You make 20 grand extra a year on the side. And that's all great stuff. But I know also a majority of you guys, you run a real business, a legitimate business. You're making $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 off of your business and your company, or more plus. and you are trying to figure out how to grow this thing, how to make more money, how to have more net profit, not just, hey man, me and my guys are out there working harder. I do not subscribe to the message of just working harder. I've actually worked less hard and made more money the last few years by having smart people around me and figuring out how to get smart people around me. And I'm not a hero by any means, but my first 10 years, all I did was focus on how well I laid mulch, how well I did cleanups, how straight my stripes were, how much grass I cut. We were there every Tuesday, 26 weeks out of 26 weeks straight for our regular season, right? Like predictable and consistent. And maybe that's why I'm still in business, is because I focused on all that stuff to a degree. But what I didn't do along that first decade in business, which really was the fulcrum, the turn in the road, the fork in the road, the Brian's Lawn Maintenance 2.0, that second wind. It wasn't my new rig. It wasn't the truck. It wasn't the enclosed trailer. It wasn't really any of that. It was the fact that I had to own up. I had to man up. I had to shore up. I had to get organized. I had to really put my life and my business under a microscope and say, what are we trying to do here? Like, a lot of people don't really understand that the last 4 years have been a transformative process for me personally. And that is exuded outwardly to our business, to our life, to our income. But I tell you guys all the time, like, you have to have the smoke before there's the fire. You have what came first? Everybody's always like looking at the successful guy and like the Elon Musks, and they're like, oh, look at Tesla, or oh, look at SpaceX. Bro, you got to look back at what was the guy doing 10, 15 years ago. He was building the foundation to have a successful company. And let's say my lawn care business has grown crazy financially the last few years. And we created this YouTube thing. Who knows whatever the heck that is, right? The social media thing. The reality is that a lot of that framework and that foundation was laid 4 and 5 years ago and 3 years ago. And that's what I'm trying to implore you guys to understand while we do these freaking podcasts. It's not just to entertain you for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour. It's to really challenge you that, look, there's people that are doing things different, that are making more money with less work, or they're still working extremely hard and they're making way more money. We do that with my own story. I get Liz on the show and I hear her perspective, my perspective, our mentality together, different dynamic. We get other guests on the show that make, $50 to $250,000 a year. And then we get other guys on the show that make, $500,000 or $1 million a year. We get the Corey Ballards, the Troy Clogs, the Greg Woodstocks. And you'd be confused to think that just because you install ponds and Greg Woodstock installs ponds, that you guys are on the same pay grade. And it's not an indictment. To me, it was a challenge. To me, it was motivation. I'm like, how do I become more successful with what I do? How do I make more money with what I do? And so that goes full circle to the fact that only 2 people out of 7,500 people that viewed that video bought that book. As I literally said, that is the most helpful and successful book that I've read on finances in the last 3 or 4 years, outside of all the books that I've read previously, right? And in fact, I even did a video on this. I don't know if it was in 2019, I think it was. It was like the top 10 business books that have changed my life. And it was the 10X and the One Thing book and, The Richest Man in Babylon. And I listed to 10 or 12 books and the Amazon affiliate links in that video. Let me ask you this. Same thing. Same question. How many views or whatever do you think that video got? Like 4,000 views. And I had 50,000 subs. And I'm like, only 4,000 views? Like, who cares about the views? It's not about like making money on the YouTube views. It's like the last thing on my mind. It's not even about making money on the stupid Amazon affiliate links. I said, I make 25 cents or 50 cents. I actually don't even know. I do not literally even know what we make. So here's the reality. Why did I promote the books? Because they freaking transformed my life. They changed my life, my business, my mentality, how much money I was making, the way I approached business. I mean, I've told you this 100 times when I get around Bedell. The way he looks at business is entirely different. His lens, his worldview, his whatever. The guy's going on 34. He sounds like he's 54 half the time, like he's a seasoned CEO. Well, that video only got 4,000 views a year and a half ago. And I'm like, and I don't know how many books, sold or moved, but the reality is that was probably my favorite video that I did in 2019 for the second half of the year. I'm like, dude, if you read these 10 books and you work your butt off, There's no way you can't chisel out a 6-figure income in any industry in less than 24 months. Like, there's no way. There's no way that you wouldn't be able to knock that out. I know because I did it. How many people went and downloaded audiobooks? How many people went? Very, very few. Now, if you did, for real, I'm so proud of you if you did. Like that's what I'm looking for, man. Like, I don't want you guys to be the same person December 31st, 2021 as you guys are on January 15th today, 2021, right? And it's not because you mowed more grass. It's not because you picked up an extra service to start offering. Oh, I've never done mulch before. Now I'm doing mulch installation. Oh, I've never done pool installs. Now I'm doing pool installations. That's not even the conversation that we're having. I want you guys to focus on doing the hard things. I want you guys to focus on your mentality. I want you guys to focus on being a better business person. Let me rephrase this. That's what I was focused on. I can't tell you what to do. I can't, say do this or die, or do this or you're fired. You guys aren't my employees or anything like that. We're all friends and we're all partners listening to this show. But I'm telling you, what was my biggest motivating factor to read these books is I wanted to be a better business person. I wanted to be a better businessman. I wanted to actually walk the walk. I actually wanted to talk the talk. I wanted to know what the hell is going on with my business, right? And it's so funny because a little case study here. Liz and I, we went to a restaurant. I think it's called the Coach Insignia. It's down in Detroit. It's on the 72nd story floor of this the GM Renzen. Beautiful, building, beautiful part of Detroit. It's up top. It's incredible. 2-story restaurant. And it's actually a really nice place. It was like, probably $150, steakhouse kind of for 2 people, right? One of those nights. And you kind of get a little dressed up, wear some slacks and or some dress pants and a button up, right? Button front shirt. So Liz and I, actually, it was funny because Liz thought that I was going to propose to her. We were going to this restaurant, and so I was messing with her the whole night and, hold the knife over the end of the table and drop it, and it drops down and I have to go down and pick it up. And when I came down and didn't have the ring opened up. And I went, man, this silly knife just fell right off, And she lets out this huge sigh of relief and this, she thought she was going to get proposed to. So I was messing with her the whole night, and it's probably not the right thing to do, but I'm a butthead, right? Well, it was just interesting that we had told a few people the week of that we're going to go to this restaurant. Hey, we got reservations for the Coach Insignia. And by the way, I think the restaurant, unfortunately, is shut down maybe a year or two ago. But the funny thing is, it used to spin. Is the story we were told, or it spins is the story we were told. Hey man, when you guys go up there, it's on the 72nd floor. The view is uninhibited by anything. It's just up there, and you get a beautiful shot of the Detroit skyline, and the Canadian skyline right there is Windsor, if I'm not mistaken. And Detroit was actually a planned city. Detroit was, it's modeled after Paris with all the different streets. So if you are actually in this restaurant, if you ever happen to be in a skyscraper in Detroit, you can see the roads kind of spiral outward. Woodward and a couple other different roads spirals outwards, just like the in Paris, where the city center, the capital there, it looks like an 8 or 10 wheeled spoked city. And the reason is that they could, watch any civil unrest and any coups or any revolt or riots in those cities. And that's how Paris is designed. That's why all those streets you can see just from the city center all the way down so they could monitor everything. Well, Detroit was created in the same way. So anyway, we're told this whole story that, oh man, you guys are going to love it. What are you guys going for? Oh, we're just going just because. Oh, cool. Well, hey, there's not a bad seat in the house because the whole restaurant spins and you guys are going to love it. We're like, oh my God, the restaurant spins? Like, oh yeah, it's been spinning since the 80s. It's incredible. Well, funny story. Liz and I go there. We go get sat. It's a beautiful restaurant, like we've said. And everybody has told us. And Liz and I, we're dumb, young, broke couple, right? Young, dumb, and broke. And so we're here sitting down, and we get satted, and the little, French waiter guy, he's like, hello, monsieur, what would you like to drink? And the ladies, the guy's like, madame, mademoiselle, what would you like to drink? I'm like, listen, Frenchie, relax, okay? And just having some fun. And so he takes a little napkin, throws it on my lap. He's like, pata. And then he takes the napkin and throws it down on Liz's lap. And I'm like, what are we doing here? We are so out of our pay grade. It's not even funny. So funny story. Liz is looking out the window. We're ordering waters or drinks or whatever. And Liz goes, man, this is beautiful. It's literally 6:00 at night. The sun's setting. Okay, this is in January, which the sun sets at about 5:30, 6 o'clock. Sun setting, it looks beautiful. The Detroit city lights are all starting to pop up, and all the orange and different colored lights, and Windsor's lighting up across the Detroit River. It's beautiful. I mean, you can see for miles, a couple miles, all the way different around 360 degrees. Or at least we thought we were going to. Because Liz looks out the window, and we're sat where we can see like the Canadian side, and I'm like, hey babe, I don't think this restaurant's spinning. She's like, well, of course it is. Of course it is. And I'm like, no, I don't think it is. She goes, oh my God, I can feel it spinning. I'm like, Liz, the restaurant is not spinning. And so we do like the lock our eye, from like a piece of metal in the window to like, a skyscraper across the way over the river to the Canadian side. And I'm like holding my little eye, like winking, and I'm like I'm shooting out of a rifle. And I'm like, Liz, we ain't moving, bro. And she's like, I don't think we're moving. I go, I don't think we're moving. And I'm like, there's no way. This is the restaurant that spins. And I'm thinking, are we in the wrong restaurant? Like, how many restaurants are on top of a skyscraper in Detroit? Well, Frenchie comes back and he goes, hey, we're like, hey, what's up with the restaurant? When does it start spinning? Is it like on a break and then it starts spinning? And he goes, Monsieur, the restaurant has not spun in 20 years. And I'm like, no, that's impossible. We had friends that have been here recently and they said that it spins. And he's like, no, sir. He's like, the restaurant doesn't spin. He goes, the restaurant shut down like 10, 15 years ago, whatever the story was. All the gear seized up. To get it to spin, it costs $2 to $3 million because they'd have to get like 4 of those like Chinook helicopters, literally raise the whole dome, the lid, the cap of the restaurant to like fix the seized gears. And so he goes, instead we just put $300,000 into renovations and made it a really bougie place. I go, well, that's probably a better investment instead of some stupid restaurant that spins, right? But the reality was none of the people that we had talked to had literally been to the restaurant in Lord knows how long, right? There was a difference between somebody being a travel guide and somebody being a tour guide and somebody being a travel agent, right? Like the travel agent's like, oh, you've got to check this place out, this place out, this place out. You'll absolutely love it, right? They've never been to the freaking place they're telling you to go because they're a travel agent. And a tour guide is somebody who's been on the adventure. They've been on the excursion. They've been to the restaurant. And none of my friends that I realized were any tour guides. They had never even been to the freaking restaurant. I rolled a couple of heads like a week later. I'm like, hey, dude, when was the last time you were at that restaurant? Oh, dude, 1984. What? I thought you had, it's been 30 freaking years. Oh, yeah, dude. No, like we went there for our prom, dinner back when, in 88. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And by the way, that's when it kind of realized to me that even good friends, even people that want to know, people that want to look cool, people that want to sound like they're in the know, people that have your best interest in mind or, they want to go to a certain place. I've just personally realized that most folks in life are travel agents and they're not tour guides. And this is something I swear to on my soul. This is a huge catalyst for me to become a better businessman about 4 or 5 years ago. Because I had realized that I have been taking so much wrong advice from so many freaking people over the last 10 years that were travel agents about how to run a business, how to structure a business, entities to form, how to hire a bookkeeper, what's the role of a bookkeeper, how to run a business, what's profit, what's margins, all of it, dude. All of it. And I had been reading and studying success for a decade. And I had this like kind of like age of maturity, this coming of age. I turned 30, 31. I had a midlife crisis at 30. If you guys ever watched our Fullerton Party at 2 channel, you know that I was like, dude, I'm 30. I'm about $100 million short of where I thought I would be. And I have just realized that after studying business and success and reading almost every book in the stupid self-help section at Barnes & Noble, and then trying to take that information to other people that were around me, above me, below me, just people around me, I had realized how few people had a freaking clue about what was going on in life, about how to make money, about how to get it, how to grow it, how to keep it, the whole deal. About taxes, I had a CPA. I thought he was a good CPA. He was a great CPA. He was a good CPA for somebody who makes $40,000 a year, who gets a W-2, and maybe their Tesla stock went up 7%. Okay. He had no business doing my taxes, and it was my fault for having him on my team. But I didn't know he was doing a bad job because I didn't know what a good CPA was until I read that book, Tax-Free Wealth, back in probably 4 or 5 years ago. And I just started to stitch a couple things together. I said, wait a minute. I thought this guy was good, and I realized that this guy had no clue what he was talking about. He was an accountant. He was a CPA. I remember sitting in his office just 3 years ago, I think, maybe 4 years ago, and him looking across me and my numbers and going, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I'm growing this thing, dude. Like, I'm building the foundation. It's not the most profitable year, but wait till you see next year." And he's like, does like the chin rolling thing, like with his beard. He didn't have a beard, but he's like, scratching his chin, and he has a little, bifocal glasses, and he puts them over his nose and looks over me. And he's a 65-year-old guy, and he was a good dude, Carl. Thin, bald hair, hairline, and the whole deal. And I'm like, "Hey, dude, I'm building something here." And he goes, "What's this YouTube thing?" And I said, we made like $1,000 maybe from our whole YouTube channel, like 2016 or whatever it was. And he's like, "What are you doing with these like YouTube things? What's these cameras? This thing lost money. This business that you have, it lost money. What are you doing here?" And I said, I'm building something, dude. I'm gonna make some money with YouTube. I'm gonna build a YouTube channel." He's like, What's a YouTube channel?" And I'm like, I to be honest with you, I don't know either. Okay, but I think I'm gonna build something big. And I might have had like 600 subscribers, right? And I had to make this personal decision. Here's why I say all this: is I had to make this personal decision that I was going to stop waiting for things to happen to me, and I had to go swim out to my boat. I had to figure out how to build a business team. I had to figure out what the hell a P&L statement is. I had to figure out what knowing your numbers mean. I was so uncomfortable. I was so sweaty. I was so nervous. I was so confused. Nothing made sense. And if I'm just honest with you guys, I really do feel inadequate 99% of the time when I talk to somebody, because it's not my personality type to be outwardly and others focused. And so when I talk, I usually listen. I know it's ironic because you guys always hear me talk, but usually when I get around somebody else, I'm observant. I'm quiet. I shut up. I know that even if I make more money than the other person, I want to learn as much as I can about that other person. I want to, if they're wealthier than me, if I actually know they're wealthier than me, I will just shut up and listen. And this is what I charged myself with this last 4 years. I didn't want to just be a guy who cut grass and put it on YouTube, or a guy who cut grass and made a little $40,000 a year business. Like that's not wrong if that's your goal. I'm sincere when I say, like, if that's your whole goal and mission, I will help you do that. Like, now, let's do that now. Let's get that done. Let's butt kick. But if you want to make a couple $100,000 a year and have investments and understand appreciation and depreciation and passive income and dividend income and pass-through entities and all this stuff that is not taught to you at all, which we're gonna have a training program hopefully revealed here in a week or two about all this. This is the kind of stuff that I was so hungry for, because I wanted to learn firsthand, and I was sick and tired of everybody around me lying or pretending like they knew what the hell they were talking about. Everybody, again, people who make $50,000 a year, for example, it's not an indictment. They're not good people. They're not bad people. They give you financial advice based off of what they make and what they earn, right? And it's not a bad person. It's not a good person. It's just people giving advice. And if they make $50,000 a year, guess what? You're getting $50,000 per year advice. You're getting, let's say it's middle-class mentality advice, right? If you ask your parents, this was a case study for Liz and I. We would ask our parents, we'd ask our aunts and uncles, and nobody really made more than 6 figures in our family. So what kind of advice could they give us? They give us a lot of theory, a lot of travel agent advice. But did anybody been there, done that? Was there any tour guide advice? No. And so I was looking around and I'm like, dude, holy crap. We don't know a single person that makes good money. Like really good money. In our MO, we had a wealth mentality. We had a success mentality. We had a success consciousness. If you look at the book, Think and Grow Rich, it talks about the fact that if you want to make more money, you have to have a success consciousness. That means you want money to be attracted to you. That means everything you look at, it's money. You got to figure out the money thing. I'm not saying prioritize money and make it your God, okay? Like, let's not go from one ditch to the other. But you have to start being honest with yourself that if you want to make more money, you have to start figuring out how to make more money, right? There's arts and science to the making of money. There's formulas. There's things you got to learn. And that was our case. I'm like, okay, I got to stop relying on other people to get this information, and I got to go chase it. And I got to spend $600 per hour with this guy, $100 per hour with this guy, $250 per hour with this guy, $400 an hour. I mean, people, like, we have coaching calls are $179 or whatever they are at the time. And some people go, oh my God, I spent an hour and a half with Brian and I learned 10 grand, 100 grand worth of info that's going to pay dividends for forever. And then somebody else, they're like, yeah, $179, that's a lot of money. I mean, I've told you guys many times before, there's so many people that I spend hundreds of dollars with just for an ounce of their time. Hey, dude, I'll fly you up and pay you $10,000. Teach me everything you know, that kind of stuff. And it's just perspective. It's how hungry for it are you, right? And that just goes full circle to the book in the YouTube description link. It also goes full circle to the YouTube videos that I put out where, mowing tall grass video, 100,000 views in, let's say a month. 6 ways to simplify your billing process, 2,000 views in a month. We do how to charge cards on file, 4,000 views in a month. Power washing a sidewalk, 1 million views in a month. Hey guys, here's how to get your business organized with QuickBooks and taxes and all this other, whatever the topic is, right? 5,000 views. And then new motor reveal 2021 Toro Grandstand Multiforce, 80,000 views in a month, right? Like that. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. This is what I want to charge you guys with. Don't just be passive. Don't be listening to travel agents. Don't be the same person that you are right now at the end of the year. And I don't mean with watching content or, what you do externally. I mean who you are internally. I mean, learn how to be a businessman. Learn how to be a business owner. Do the tough thing. Study the tough stuff. Read the things that you're not good at. Learn the things that suck, that you think are really hard, really difficult, and they're an enigma, and that you think you can never master. I will assure you that more than likely, I am dumber than you if you're listening to this podcast. That's a fact. But if I can make sense of this kind of stuff, okay, if I can make sense of it, there's hope for you. Okay, I learned a lot. I mean, I had to literally tell everybody that was working with me, hey, slow down. Walk me through what you just did again. Hey, get a pen and paper out. I'm visual. I need a visual. Give me a flow chart. Give me a graph. Give me a pie chart. Give me this. If I do this happens. Okay, give me a workflow. Okay, I had to literally have so many people hold my hand. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Like, my learning curve to learn something new takes probably 2 to 5 times longer than the average adult. I don't know if there's a disability there. I don't know if I'm just thick-headed. I don't know. But what I do know is that when I get it, I get it. And I was so tired of taking so much advice from people who had no clue what they're talking about, telling me that a restaurant was spinning that hadn't been spinning for arguably 25 years, right? And so the same mentality, the same education, the same thought process that you might be receiving might be antiquated and hasn't been spinning and hasn't been rolling and hasn't been relevant for 20 or 25 years. Right. And I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I was going to say the smartest knife in the drawer. I can't even make these dad jokes half the time because I'm, me and Ballard out there together, you know what I'm saying, figuring this thing out. What I just want to employ you guys is, if bookkeeping scares you, learn everything there is to know about bookkeeping. I'm not saying do your bookkeeping, because you guys have heard me say, focus on being a 9 or a 10. If you're a 2 or 3, hire it out. But don't be afraid of it. Okay, don't be afraid of it. If taxes scare you, whether you're behind or you owe too much or you're just sick and tired of not understanding how it works, look, I'm not a finished product by any means. There's stuff I'm learning every single day. I'm watching YouTube videos on all these different topics, and I could hire it all out. I could say, look, I don't need to learn about any more of this stuff at all. It's not even my priority or prerogative. I got good people. No. What's up with the PPP loans? What's up with the EIDL? What's up with all these stupid loans? What's going on with this? What's going on with that? How can we still learn and grow? And I'll tell you what, if I'm doing it, you should be doing it. Stop just spending all your time being entertained on YouTube or on a podcast. Learn, be intentional. Okay. If we're not, I promise you're not going to be any different than you were December 31st than you are today. Well, I set goals and I punched the clock. I passed out 100 flyers a day. I did all my lawns. I told my wife I love her. I went to the gym. Yeah, but are you different? Okay, I don't care what you do externally. What are you internally? Because if you grow, everything else will grow. I keep telling you guys this. and this was a great analogy I heard a long time ago, was when you try to just shore up something with somebody else's advice or just try something temporarily, that's almost like you being in a huge pool and sloshing your arm across the top, 6 inches of water and moving water over to the other side of the pool. It works temporarily until that water cascades back on you and water just levels out and it meets its level, right? It comes to its same equal level in that pool. The only way to grow the water in the pool is to add more water to the pool, right? And so I see so much year over year over year. This was me for a decade, just sloshing water over, and then it would come back. And I'm like, well, that's really strange. I've never seen water splash back at me like I'm in a bathtub. So what did I do? Well, I'm a redheaded male. Let's slosh my arm over and splash some more water over into the deep end. Hey, man, the water's going to stay over there that time. We're going to elevate that pool. And then the water would smack me back in the face and I get chlorine in my eyes. And when you have contacts, that hurts, it stings, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, you know what? The first 2 times it didn't work, but you know what? I'm going to change the pitch of my arm. Instead of me having a big hand open, I'm going to make a fist. And instead of going really slow, I'm going to go really fast. I'm going to punch the water all the way to the deep end. And I would do that. And then the 4th time I'd say, you know what? It's got to be the right arm that was sloshing it. That's why the water's coming back. I'm going to use my left hand. I'm going to use my left hand to slosh water over to the pool, to keep the water over the pool, to elevate that side of the pool, right? And you know what? When the hands don't work, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to kick. I'm going to kick it with my feet. And then what would happen is I would watch a YouTube video and somebody would say, your pool's not increasing the water because you use your right hand, your left hand, or your 2 feet. Watch this. Do this instead. Oh man, let me click that video. I'm going to watch that instead. You know what they would say to me? Hey, go upside down, do an upside down handstand in the pool, and then kick your feet out like a little synchronized swimmer person, and then do a little flipper wave and kick water over to the under end of the pool. That's actually what's going to work. And that's what I did for a decade. I was just listening to everybody, and instead of trying to just take 2 minutes and figure out my own mentality, my own philosophy, learning for myself, instead of learning from all these people that were just doing it for travel agent versus a tour guide, they had never really done it themselves. But the scheme is just to keep putting out the content, and just keep paying it forward, passing the buck down of stupid begets stupid, which begets stupid, right? And so here's what I'm just trying to tell you. Study, learn, grow, be intentional. Don't be afraid. If you don't know anything about QuickBooks, learn, man. There's so many fun YouTube videos. Go find a QuickBooks Pro, authorized person in your area. Talk to your bookkeeper and say, hey, look, I'm about as sharp as a box of marbles. Okay, can you help me out here? I have no idea what I'm doing here. And they'll say, I just don't have time. I go, listen, buddy, I will pay you $200 if you just shut up, sit down, and teach me. Maybe a little bit more people skills in there, but maybe not. Get somebody's attention. What do I need to be doing, man? How do I do this? Right? Talk to your bookkeeper. Talk to a CPA. Talk to a payroll person. I asked so many stupid questions to my payroll person. She was literally like, I don't know if there's any other questions left to be asked. And I said, good. I'm starting to kind of understand this stuff, okay? And I would get around Bedell. And I told you guys this story a couple other times. Bedell, I would just give him some soft shoe answer. He'd be like, he just kind of chuckle. He goes, okay. Right. He'd be like, so do you actually know what you just said? Or do you know what you're talking about? Like, no, honestly, no. I heard it on a YouTube video six years ago and I have no idea. And he goes, I think this is what you're trying to say or trying to do or trying to move. Now, I can't articulate half of this stuff, okay? Because I'm not I'm not Darren Hardy or, Tony Robbins over here. I'm a regular lawn bro, okay? But I understand it internally, and that's all I need. I don't need to sound intelligent to you or to YouTube for me to understand and to know how to get it for me and my family. I promise you, one thing that set me free about 2 years ago, I was at Keith Kalfas' live event, Marketing ROI, and Josh Latimer had said, there's people out there that are dumber than you that already have what you want. He goes, so what's getting in the way? And it just, somehow it hit me upside the head like a bag of bricks. And I will tell you right now, there's persons that you're listening to right now on this podcast that are, I guarantee you, dumber than you, that may already have what you want. And that's exciting or it can be frustrating. For me, it was excitingly frustrating. I was like, oh my God, if that guy, I know that guy's dumber than me, but he's making more money. How do I do what he's doing? Right? And it just put me on this quest the last 4 years. You want to know what the last 4 years have been? Try, fail, adjust, repeat. It's been awkward conversations, tough conversations, me feeling inadequate, me feeling stupid, me feeling all the above. And I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but this is just my journey, okay? Maybe you went to MBA school or business school and you went to this school and they taught you all this. Or maybe you had a father that helped you all out, okay? God bless you if you did. I didn't have any of the above. So what did I have to do? I had to figure it out for myself. One thing that I remember somebody saying is that the average CEO makes 600 times more money than the average rank and file worker. But the average CEO goes to like 10 different CEP, continuing education programs or classes per year. The average CEO reads about 60 books per year. And when they always talk about what do you do for personal development as a CEO, it's usually a couple hundred hours of this kind of stuff. Networking, trade events, leadership courses and conferences, webinars, seminars, books, podcasts. Well, let me ask you this. I know you're not the CEO of Amazon, but you are the CEO of your lawn and landscaping company. How many books did you read last year? How many audio programs did you listen to last year? I know I'm preaching to the choir a little bit here because you guys are partnering up and kicking butt listening to the podcast. And I know you guys are consuming the podcast because I see the numbers. And that's exciting. That's super exciting. But how many books are you going to read this year? How many books are you going to challenge yourself to read and hold your own self accountable? I didn't read because I liked reading. I read because I knew if I read this, I could take care of my wife. And I knew what my motivation was. I've said it 100 times before. It was to take care of my wife and to take care of my mom. And I did not want to let my ignorance, my laziness, my stupidity, my I don't like to do something get in the way of the real reason or issue of what I was trying to do, which was to take care of my mom and take care of my wife. You want to talk about living uncomfortably for about 4 or 5 years and then, materializing a couple $100,000 a year income? I'll tell you what, it was worth every single bit of the uncomfortableness that I had to face in front of grown professionals with suits and ties and my friend Mike and other freaking people and being laughed at on YouTube for me to figure out how to be a better businessman. Now, I'm not the best at articulating it all out to you guys, but I'll tell you what, I'm not confused. I didn't want to be confused. I wanted to be strong. I didn't want to be fake. I wanted to know the best I could how to understand the things that I was learning. And when I put out coaching calls and somebody spends an hour and a half with me, I feel comfortable and confident knowing that what I tell them, they can run and hit execute on, because I treated it serious that when you guys call in and you want a coaching call to take care of you and your family, which is why you're really calling in, I wanted to make sure that I was able to give you the best advice possible. These are the things that made me own up. These are the things that made me man up. You know what they made me want to do? They made me want to be a tour guide, not a travel agent. Okay? So when you talk about all these different things we just talked about on the podcast, it's just shocking and alarming to me, the people that are watching 150,000 viewed video, about mowing tall grass. But when you put out 5 business books that can change your career in the next 2 to 3 years and it gets 1,500 views, look, I hope that you guys listening to the show are the 1,500 people that watch that video as well as the other video. But let's make sure that if you guys are listening to this podcast, that you're the one that listened to that video, the how to grow your income, your life, or whatever the business mindset video was, more than just being entertained. Okay, there's a difference between entertainment and income. There's a difference between just watching tall grass or watching a video, 3 ways to start a lawn care business, and then somebody promotes something to you. Tell you what, there's no ulterior motive to me. What 25 cents when I get an Amazon affiliate link or whatever it is, I honestly don't even think it's that much. Who cares? It's not about me. It's about you guys. And so I'm not mad that 250 people didn't download the book. Here's what I said. Praise Jesus for the 2 people that bought the book on Amazon. Those people are going to have a better year. Those people know something that the other 70,498 people didn't get. And that's what's concerning to me, is people say they want it, but then I get to see how many people deliver, produce, or execute on the back end. And, Liz and I, I'll tell you what, this is a funny little post-it note that we had, and I heard it maybe from Andy Frisella or somebody, but it was a little post-it note. We had 3 of them around our house. We had one at the front door, we had one in the cabinet, and one in the bathroom mirror, and it said, do you want success, or do you just really want success? Do you want it, or do you really want it? Because a lot of people want it, man. But do you really want it? I hate to be the tough guy to always put that little juxtaposition there, but do you want it, or do you really want it? Because I've been around for so many people in the industry that want it, but they don't really want it. I've been around so many people that started a YouTube channel and they even had some success and they wanted it, but they really want it? No, because they gave up at 2, 5, 10, 20,000 subs. I really wanted it. I was a dog on a bone. I was, dog with in the hunt don't know it's got fleas, that kind of a deal. I wanted it so bad because I was so determined to make sure that it happened, because I wanted to, you ever watch these videos? This guy's going to get 100,000 subs, or how to get 100,000 subs on YouTube. And it's like the guy doing the video's got 15,000 subs and he's teaching you a theory. He's a travel agent. And then he gives out advice and I go, that's right. But dude, these other 6 things are wrong. Or the 6 things that you presented, 3 of them are right, 3 of them are wrong, but you didn't even present the other 5 things that really do need what it takes to bake that into a YouTube channel to get to 100,000 subs. So frankly, you have no business giving out that advice, right? And that's what I just implore you guys to do, is be a tour guide, not a travel agent. You guys notice that I don't talk above my level about my lawn and landscape business. You want to make a couple $100,000 a year? I could help you gross a couple $100,000 a year. You want to make 2.5 million gross? I'm not going to give out advice. I could travel agent. I give you some suggestions, but really what I do is, hey, instead of flying on my airline, let me go get you to the Ballard Inc. airline. Okay, go talk to Corey. Go talk to Troy. And I do that all the time. We do that by getting those guys on the show. A Jeremy Connect, a bunch of other great guys, half of you guys listening in. That's what I like to do. Okay, so travel agent versus tour guide. Okay, that restaurant, it had spun for 25 years. And we were getting advice the week of saying, oh man, you guys are going to enjoy that restaurant. It spins. And Liz and I get up there and we're looking out with a little rifle cocked eye, trying to look out the window, line it up. And I'm like, man, this restaurant ain't spinning.
Hello, Mr. Producer here. And while listening to the program, if you were saying, yes, I really want it, here's an action step. Visit launchpreneuracademy.com. Brian has, listen to this now, 14 new training programs about to be available on the site to go with the at least 23 some odd programs and services that are already active. It's like a superstore for anybody wanting to make 2021 the absolute best year in the lawn care business. Spend some time there and make yourself comfortable. No, not bathrobe comfortable. And keep checking every few days for the new arrivals. Of course, I always recommend the whole ball of wax bundle. That's where you get just about everything, plus future updates for making the commitment on the front end. What are you waiting on? Check out launchpreneuracademy.com and also remember to support the show sponsors.
Eyewitness News can confirm that there continues to be a rash of robberies at local landscaping warehouses. The story we reported last week on the theft of lawn care equipment has taken a turn for the worst, with numerous break-ins.
Don't let this be you. Think ahead. Prepare for the future. No lock is bulletproof, but give your equipment and livelihood a fighting chance with the security it needs from Proven Locks. Store your equipment with confidence and enjoy the peace of mind knowing your equipment is safe from thieves. Proven Locks makes trailer coupler locks to protect your utility and enclosed trailers, and it's the lock Brian Fullerton personally uses on his trailer now for over 4 years. These are definitely a premium lock, but when you consider a dump trailer costs $9,000, an enclosed trailer alone is $10,000 plus $30,000 with 2 lawnmowers inside, you can see it's a no-brainer to protect your investment.
Hey, the exciting thing here is that these guys are also a Brian's 10 partner, where you guys can save over 10% on any order.
Visit ProvenLocks.com or check the link in the show notes, and they also have a great assortment of additional locking accessories like truck door locks and wheel locks to keep your equipment and trailers secure. ProvenLocks.com. That's ProvenLocks.com.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.